Work less and make more. Wealthy is greater than rich. As our friend Warren Buffett says, make money while you sleep or work until you die. Everyone wants to be rich. Here's why I pursue being wealthy instead of being rich. Let me outline the 4 primary ways in which most people earn money. Number 1, or path number 1, employee. Number 2 is the entrepreneur. Number 3, the business owner. And path number 4, investor. I'll explain the first 3 paths using a fun game that I just made up for this video to illustrate my point called rich versus wealthy. Towards the end, I'll share some of the tips that have helped me transition from one path to the other. Let's dive into the game, rich versus wealthy. Meet Eddie, the entrepreneur. Eddie earns $1 million in income. He works 50 hours per week because let's assume Eddie has achieved a pretty good work-life balance. He's only working 50 hours a week. The caveat, if Eddie doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. Next, I'll introduce to you Bob, the entrepreneur. Bob's business generates $3 million in revenue, $1 million in profit, and he runs his daily operations with the support of a low-cost staff who needs direction. If Bob's not around, the business struggles and the profits decline. Essentially, he owns a job. Contestant number 3, Barbara, the business owner. Barbara's business also generates $3 million in revenue and $1 million profit. However, she has systems in place, staff in place that run the day-to-day operations autonomously. In fact, her business thrives even in her absence. She owns a business. Drum roll. Who is richer? It's a trick question. All 3 of them, they're equally rich in the way society defines it because they each earn $1 million a year. However, the real question is who is wealthier pours back to how they earn their money. So give some context. Let me provide my definition of rich and wealthy. Rich means making a lot of money, such as rich doctor, rich uncle, rich parent. You get that. Wealthy means your income is not tied to your daily efforts and you make a lot of freedom. Between Eddie, Bob, and Barbara, who is wealthier? Winner, winner. Barbara is the wealthiest as her income generates her the greatest amount of freedom. Let's go into round 2, rich versus wealthy. Now let's elevate the discussion to a private equity level. Here's where the money is earned and valued differently, often referred to net worth or enterprise value. So Eddie, the entrepreneur, his net worth is 0. He trades his time for money and nobody is really purchasing other people's job. Bob, the entrepreneur, his business is valued at 1 to 3 times profit, or seller's discretionary earnings, SDE for short, since it is highly dependent on his time and his efforts, and so his business is worth $1 to $3 million. Now let's dive into Barbara, the business owner. Her business would be valued at 5 to 10 times profits, EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, since it doesn't require her involvement, giving it a value of $5 to $10 million. It's important to recognize that net worth or business value can fluctuate over time. You can't pay your bills with net worth. This is somewhat of a make-believe number until the deal is actually closed at that value. On the other hand, profits increase are more tangible for most people. So let's say year over year, the profits of their ventures increase equally to $2 million. How would this affect the net worth? Eddie goes from $1 million to $2 million. His net worth is still 0. Even though his earnings have doubled, 0 times 0 still equals 0. So Bob's business now be valued at $2 to $6 million because of his multiple of 1 to 3 times. Whereas Barbara has now, her business value has gone from $10 to $20 million. As you can see, there's an exponential difference in the value output. What's the difference? Leverage. Naval Ravikant aptly puts it, forget the rich versus the poor, the white collar versus the blue. It is now leveraged versus unleveraged. So you want to earn with leverage, that creates wealth, not earn with time, which is rich. For most of my life, I've been in the Eddie and Bob's paths. If you've already on Barbara's path, congratulations, you have the potential to unlock that 4th path of income, the investor path. And I'll dive into details on this path and leverage in a future video. If you're aspiring to be more like Barbara, here are 5 strategies that have helped me transition between those paths that could potentially expedite your journey. So number 1, develop a side hustle. This is an employee tip. You have to break free from earning money for someone else. So if you're earning a high income and it's not feasible to seek equity or commission-based opportunities, oftentimes a side hustle is your only other option. For instance, creating a newsletter or a blog or something you're passionate about. Maybe it's fly fishing. Develop a course around a common problem and sell it. Selling it for $100 to $200. By doing this, your content begins to draw attention to your product. Selling 50 courses a month could net you an extra $10,000 a month. Number 2, entrepreneur tip. Here's the biggest issue that all businesses require your effort. Owning a job oftentimes is more stressful than just having a job. When you're punching the clock in and out, that's not very stressful. But when you own the business, there is no punching out. I've yet to meet a business owner that hasn't had thoughts of burning down their entire company or just quit overall. Myself included. Business is hard, especially if you're doing the things that you suck or hate. So you need to hire for the suck. Throughout most of my career, I was somewhat of a control freak and I struggled with delegating tasks. Part of the reason was that I didn't hire the right people. I tended to employ generalists instead of specialists. I often hired individuals that had skills mirroring my own. My business suffered because I had to take on tasks that I didn't enjoy, and it drained my energy. However, I learned that some people actually love doing the things that I loathe. If you hire someone who relishes tasks that you dislike, it frees up your time to focus on what you enjoy and what you're good at. Number 3, community building. This is both an employee and a business temp. Hint, this is the direction which I'm taking this video and my newsletter and all my other content, is to concentrate on building a robust community around the brand. Not only does it aid in customer retention, but it also turns your customers into brand ambassadors. Final 2 were also big aha moments that tap into that leverage factor. You need to be able to start thinking 10x or 100x. What are all your efforts focused on that are giving you the 10 to 100x returns on your time? And that goes to tip number 4, automation tools. Entrepreneurs, employees often overlook the importance of investing into automation tools. CRM systems, email marketing platforms, social media schedules, managing reoccurring tasks efficiently. Investing in automation was a game changer for me. Leveraging software, AI, ChatGPT sometimes can replace entire roles at a fraction of the cost and with greater reliability. And number 5, outsourcing. If you haven't yet employed offshore staff, you're missing out. Exceptionally skilled staff members are available at rates of $3 to $8 an hour, outsourcing non-core functions such as customer service, cold calling, data scrape, marketing, sales, development. These enable you to concentrate on the main aspects of your business. I'd love to hear from you. If this rich versus wealthy game that I just made up was insightful and maybe helped you provide some context on the importance of playing the right game, also shed some light on why I'm embarking on the pursuit of wealth and not rich. Till next time, subscribe if this game was helpful for you.